The year is 2025, but I want to talk to RJ in 2010. The RJ that is dropping Cassie off at Fred's Cafe so she can bartend. And she looks at me and she says, "We should start our own business." Now, that RJ was young, dumb, and crazy and was like, "Yeah, sounds like a great idea. Let's do it." But we knew nothing. We had no idea what was in store for us over the next 15 years. And so I want to share that story so you guys can learn from it. So, RJ, in 2010, when Cassie says you should start your own business, you're going to go home and you're going to come up with this idea called My Bookie's Nightmare. And that's going to be one of the worst ideas that you ever have in those 15 years. However, from there, you do actually come up with some great ideas. But you learned a very valuable lesson. Always listen to Cassie. That was the first time you found that out. From there, you're going to have some opportunities. You're going to become, quote unquote, an entrepreneur. And you're going to start exploring the different ideas and opportunities out there. And you're going to take a chance and you're going to go run a company called Exact Claims that was doing insurance supplements for roofing contractors. Despite the fact that you have no idea what an insurance supplement is, you don't know any roofing contractors, you're going to go run that company. You're going to do a really smart thing. You're going to hire Cassie. And you're going to learn from that moment on that she's your right-hand person. She's the person that you can trust more than anyone else out there. And we gain experience. We run a 7-figure business for the first time. But you're also going to learn that there are going to be people out there that take advantage of you. And that company is going to get sold. And you're going to get told that you're overpaid. And that's the moment that you truly decide that Cassie is your partner and you're going to go do something on your own. And so we did. We're going to start a company called Fairway Solutions. Why? Because secretly deep down, you and Cassie love golf. But we felt like it was a play on words. It's the fair way to pay those insurance supplements. So we go and we'll start our own company, Fairway Solutions, doing the insurance supplements for general contractors. And for the first time ever, you're also going to realize that you love hiring younger employees. Why? Because they're not jaded. They're willing to listen and learn from you and probably more than you, Cassie. But we're going to start this company together, and we're not going to know anything besides the fact that if we show up every single day and we work our asses off, we can do this thing called creating our own reality. So you're going to be scared. There's going to be moments where you feel like you have no idea what you're doing, especially when it comes to bookkeeping and taxes and accounting. But you're going to figure it out. Don't let that slow you down. And then your employees, you're going to realize they have no idea actually how to do their job, and neither do you, because you don't know how to talk like a roofing contractor. They don't know how to talk like a roofing contractor. And the insurance companies can sure tell that no one knows how to talk like a roofing contractor. And you're going to have one of your first great ideas. As an entrepreneur, you can do whatever you want. So you're going to have this great idea. We'll work from 8 to 5, and then from 5 to 8, we're going to go knock on doors. We're going to become a roofing contractor. So you're going to go do that. It's going to be probably the first time that you ever really flex this muscle that you didn't even know you had, which inevitably leads to you being called the king closer. That comes later down the road. It's a little cheesy. You didn't come up with it, so don't worry about that. But you start showing people how to close sellers. Not sellers. What are they? Homeowners. That's what we call those. We start closing roofs. We start doing roofing jobs. the first one you're ever going to do is right across the street from that Fred's Cafe. You're going to do a fence job, and you're going to replace a roof. And you're going to freak out the day of the roof install because you don't have general liability insurance. And for the first time ever, you're going to realize you can't get insurance on the same day you're doing something. And so you're just going to risk your entire life and livelihood doing this roof. Luckily, don't fear, no one's going to fall off that roof, no one's going to die, and you'll make it through. And you learn, hey, RJ, maybe you should plan for some things in the future. Later on, you're going to realize that you're comfortable knocking on doors, you're comfortable talking to homeowners, but Cassie isn't. This is going to be the first time that you are actually going to lead her instead of the other way around. You're going to take her to SMU. Why? Because you know it's really rich houses and you want to get a big job. And so you're going to take her over to SMU and you're going to be driving a Kia Soul, the same Kia Soul that you dropped her off at that Fred's Cafe, and you're going to firmly place your boot, which you are wearing boots at the time. It was a weird period. I'm still wearing polos and boots. But you're wearing boots and you're going to place that firmly up Cassie's ass and you're going to kick her right out of that Kia Soul and you're going to go tell her to knock on that $2 million house. And you're going to say, people would rather talk to a beautiful woman than this. And so she's going to go do it. And luckily for you, a guy in his late 20s, early 30s is going to answer the door and he's going to say, yeah, pretty lady, you can climb on my roof. Tell me if I have hail damage. And so she's going to promise this guy, we'll be back in 30 minutes. And you and Cassie are going to get in that Kia Soul and you're going to drive your ass to the Lowe's and you're going to buy a 2-story ladder that can fit in a Kia Soul. That does exist. And then you're going to go back and Cassie is going to climb on the roof because you're afraid of heights. That doesn't change. We're still afraid of heights. And she's going to get up there and she's going to realize that there's hail damage. And you're going to get the job. And because you know how to supplement insurance claims, you're going to do the entire job. You're going to do some drywall work. You're going to do some interior maintenance. And you're going to really supplement the shit out of that. You're going to get what's called overhead and profit. And you're going to make more money on that deal than you've ever made on anything in your life. And the moment that you drive 2 hours from Fort Worth to SMU to go pick up that final check, that homeowner is going to look you in the eye and say, do you do remodeling? And you're going to look him square in the eye and you'll apologize to God whenever our time is called because you're going to lie to that man straight to his face and you're going to say, absolutely. Because why can't we do anything? We create our own reality. And he says, well, I just bought a flip just right down the road on Water Bridge. 10821 Water Bridge. Keys are in the mailbox. And so Cassie and I go over there and he wants to flip this house. This is going to be your first introduction to real estate investing. And we go over there and you're going to sit on the fireplace and you're going to look at Cassie and you're going to say, I don't think we can do this because it's one of the nastiest houses you're ever going to see. It's a full gut. The guy wants to play HGTV. He wants to add a bathroom. He wants to knock down load-bearing walls, which, by the way, at this moment, you don't even know what a load-bearing wall is. That's why you have Cassie. And Cassie's going to look at you and say, RJ, I can do this. And you're going to trust her. And over the next 6, 7, 8 months, you will figure out a way to get that job done. There will be tons of heartache. You will have tile installers steal money from you. You will have other contractors promise the world to you and not show up. You will have arguments in the front yard. You will have that homeowner look you square in the eye and say, did you lie to me? And you'll have to look at them and say, yeah, I did. But what I can promise you is I'll show up every day until this job gets done. And you will. And he will flip the house. And he will make profit. Along the way, you're going to ask him, how did you find this house? And he's going to tell you, for the first time ever, what wholesaling real estate is. And it's going to be the introduction to what will inevitably be your future career. Now, let's talk about 2012. 2012 is the year that we start the business, but there's going to be a lot of things that have nothing to do with business that completely change your life. Your niece is going to be diagnosed with cancer. You're going to have Trinity. You don't know who that is. That's going to be your first son. Your dad's also going to pass away. You're going to drive to his house. You're going to tell him how proud you are of the fact that you're following in his footsteps to be an entrepreneur. It's going to be the last time you talk to him. A month after he passes away, Trinity is going to be born. 28 years, 30 minutes after you were born. October 19th, it's no longer our birthday. It's his birthday. We share it with him. It's one of the coolest things ever. You're not going to remember what life was like before 2012. It's hard for you to understand that now. But you don't know what responsibility is. And you don't know the power of holding your future in your own hands. In 2025, I wish nothing more than I could look at my dad and say, look what we did. But from that moment, you understand that now it's not about you and Cassie trying to create a business together. There's responsibilities. There's people that rely on you. You have a kid. You have family members that are struggling. And you're going to hire people. You're going to be responsible for their livelihood, and you're going to have to make sure that you show up every single day. So from 2012 to 2014, you're going to remodel houses. You're going to remodel your mom's house. You're going to make your mom's house look like one of the craziest and coolest bathrooms you've ever seen. You're going to go do concrete countertops. You're going to refinish cabinets. Cassie's going to do epoxy countertops, which I didn't even know that was a thing until we did it on a house in Dallas. And you're going to do all of these amazing transformations, but you're going to realize this isn't the path that you want to take, and you're miserable. You're miserable with the reality that you were creating as an entrepreneur. And you're going to realize that 4 years ago, you wanted to do this because you wanted to make more money, you wanted to have freedom, but you also wanted happiness. You don't want to feel the same way you felt when you worked for Eric at Pizza Hut. You ran from that. It's the one thing in your life that you've ever quit. So you're going to explore. You're going to want to look somewhere else. And mom's going to call you one day and say, I got this training. It's free. And it's in a hotel in Fort Worth. And I want you to come to it. Flipping Boston from A&E. It's going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. And so you and Cassie are going to go to this. And you're going to realize very quickly that no one from A&E is there. But there are some really good salesmen, and they're going to say enough about wholesaling real estate that you're then going to pay $1,200 to come back to actually learn how to wholesale real estate. And then when you go, there's going to be a very pretentious man from Phoenix, Arizona, who's going to wear leather pants and brag about his house on Camelback Mountain there in Arizona and how it was all possible because of wholesaling real estate. And he's going to say some things that you don't quite understand, like assignment of contract, double close. And he's going to say these things, but he's going to show you some math. And the math is going to make complete sense to you. And you're going to go outside this hotel in Fort Worth, Texas, And you're going to look at your mom, you're going to look at Cassie, and you're going to say, this is what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. I can promise you, there was nothing more in my life that I ever knew I should do besides coaching football. But this was the one. This is it. It's my career. This is going to be what I establish my legacy on. And so you're going to go to the back of the room, and then they're going to drop the hammer, and they're going to tell you that it's $65,000, and you're going to think that everything that you just believed you could achieve in your life is gone. Until your mom says, I can put it on a credit card. I can put it on a credit card, and you can pay me back. And so you take the chance. Was it a wise decision? At the time, no. 98% of the people in the room that paid $65,000 failed. What I will tell you is, you're one of the 2% that did succeed. And so you spend that $65,000, you're going to do the boots on the ground, you're going to do the one-on-one training, you're going to go to this stupid ass buyer summit at the Luxor Resort in Las Vegas, and you're going to learn just enough about how to wholesale real estate that you're going to completely change everything. From August of 2014 to January of 2015, you will wholesale 4 houses. On New Year's Day, because you're broke as shit and you're still scared that you're not going to be able to survive as an entrepreneur, you're going to look at Cassie, and this will be another monumental moment where you lead her. You're going to say, we're going to shut down our contracting company. And for the first time ever, we didn't know it was called this, we're going to have a hedgehog concept. And we're going to be laser focused on nothing but wholesaling real estate. And Cassie's going to question this. Why? Because it didn't come as natural to her. She did not dive into the training as much as you. So over the next 4 or 5 months, there's going to be a lot of tension, and you're going to have to lead her. That's okay. Because that first year, you're going to make $750,000 wholesaling real estate straight off the MLS. You'll learn how to do it the right way later on. Trust the process. Simplify things. Listen to what those people teach you, even if they barely even know what they're talking about. And go out and execute better than they did. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been standing up there and getting paid $1,000 to teach us how to do it. So, you're going to go do that first year. And then the second year, they're going to make you over $1 million. For the first time ever, you are going to be the owner of a company that makes over $1 million in a year. The next year, that's going to get to you. The other thing that's going to happen in 2017 is you're going to find your serenity. Your beautiful daughter, Serenity Jane Bates, will come into your life and forever change your life, because forevermore you're going to have to deal with a little mini you. Like, you thought Trinity was a lot like you, and then Serenity comes in, and man, she is literally the little miniature female version. But she truly does bring you serenity. And moving forward, now, not only do you have all of this other purpose, but now you have a beautiful daughter who just added on top of it. The success is going to take a toll. Why? Because you have more money than you've ever had. And you're going to start exploring things. And you're going to stray away from that hedgehog concept. And you're going to decide, because what everybody tells you you're supposed to do. Wholesaling is for the beginners. Let's flip a house. Why should we flip a house in San Antonio? Because we couldn't dispo it. Couldn't find a buyer. It's going to be the first time that you sit there and you don't listen to what everyone else said about a deal, and you're going to buy a property on Carolina Street. It's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, multiple trips down to San Antonio, and it's going to be the first time that you really have a setback in the real estate world. but you're not going to learn from it, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you the lessons that you learned from 2017 to 2020, where you're going to buy properties in 15 different states, including Hawaii and Alaska, and branching out from being partners with just Cassie and being partners with 15 to 20 other people that were not meant to be your business partner. And you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to borrow money from people and you're going to lose that money. And it's going to feel like the world is crashing down, because it actually is. And in 2020, when it feels like things could not get any worse, you're going to live through a pandemic. Yeah, things get really goofy in 2020. Like, you're going to have to wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from people, and there's going to be no sports, and people are going to die, and it's going to be real bad. And everyone in your company is going to quit, and it's just going to be you and Cassie. But you're going to start reading books. You're going to read 2 books that completely change your life. 1, Extreme Ownership. You're going to learn that after being the boss man for all these years, you've never actually acted like the boss man. So you're going to learn a thing about accountability. Then you're going to read a book called Relentless, and you're going to realize that you are a cleaner, except you haven't been acting like one. So you're going to come up with the first crazy idea that you have. We're going to create live content, live on YouTube and Facebook every single day. We're going to do this deal called 50 deals in 50 states in 50 days. And Cassie's going to look at you when you explain it to her, and she's going to say, but why? We've never done a deal in South Dakota, Montana. Why would we attempt to do this live on YouTube? You're going to say, because I am a cleaner, and I'm going to prove it to the entire industry. And so you're going to go live every single day, and you're not going to get 50 deals. You're going to get 86 deals in 50 days, but only 49 states. And this is where you're going to develop your hatred for the state of Utah and all of the people that live there. But those 50 days are going to completely change your business. And moving forward, you are going to develop the SOPs that are necessary to truly change the tide in what was going wrong in your business. Simultaneous to that, for the first time ever in your lifetime, you will be known as the token white guy. So you're going to get a call at 11 p.m. one night, and you're going to be invited to be on this competition called the Closers Olympics. And the reason why you got the call at 11 p.m. is because they had already come up with all 11 other closers, but they needed a 12th, and all the guys that were putting it together realized they had no white guys. So what white guy do we know? Well, they chose Corey Thompson first. He didn't answer the phone. So they called me next. And I just happened to answer the phone. And from there, you're going to compete in this Closers Olympics. And you're going to be nervous about it. It's a competition seeing who can talk to sellers the best in a 30-minute time frame. And you're going to look at Cassie and you're going to ask her if you should even do it several days before the event. She's going to look at you and say, all you need to do is be RJ. So that's what you're going to go do. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be literally some of the most ludicrous footage ever. The camera's going to be shaking. The audio's going to be bad. You're going to have headphones on. Your adrenaline is going to be pumping through the wavelengths. But you're going to make a name for yourself. It's going to be the first time that people actually start paying attention to Titanium. Who is RJ? Who is Cassie? Why is he so aggressive on the phones? Why is he so real on the phones? And so, over the next year, you're going to create content around talking to sellers, being aggressive on the phones, and you're going to get invited back to the second Closers Olympics. And you're never going to be more confident about anything in your life except winning that 2021 Closures Olympics, which you do in dominating fashion. You're going to face Nick Perry in the first round, and you're going to embarrass him so bad that he tells people he doesn't even talk on the phones. And in the second round, you don't even remember the guy you faced. Literally, 4 years later, can't remember his name. Don't think he's in the industry anymore. We start retiring people. And in the finals, you're going to face some other guys. Munif, pretty sure it's just Pace Morby with a mask on. And then another guy named Max Jimenez, which at the time is Steve Trang's partner. And you're going to dominate them, and you're going to win, and you're going to develop your true personality. You're going to come out with trash talk, but in humor. And these people are going to love you. You can look at Munif and make fun of him, and Munif in the same sentence will say how much he loves you. You start finding a place as a leader in the industry. And from that moment on, you decide, I have to start sharing what we're doing here at Titanium. Why? Because you're going to get a call from a CEO of a company that you use named Batch Leads. Jesse Burrell is going to call you and say, why are you not teaching people how to do what you do? And you're going to say, because I've got this hedgehog concept. We were in such a bad place, and we just started changing the tide in our business. And we've got to fix that before we can help other people. And he's going to convince you to start training other people. He's going to look at you and say, there is someone out there that has $10,000 today, and they're going to give it to someone. And it could either be you, or it will be the other person that will not teach them what you know because they don't know it. You have a responsibility to that person. You have a responsibility to yourself, and you have a responsibility to your team and your family to be the one that accepts that $10,000. So, you're going to start something called the Titanium Crucible. It'll be a 2-day boot camp inside of your office. People will travel literally from across the world to come to your little humble office in Fort Worth, Texas. And you'll start teaching people how to do wholesale and real estate. And it'll be a life-changing thing for you, because just like that moment outside of the hotel in Fort Worth where you heard the numbers and you heard assignment and double close, and you looked at your mom and you looked at Cassie and you said, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life, you're going to realize this is what I'm supposed to do for my legacy. I want to change other people's lives the same way that this business changed mine. Standing outside of that hotel, giving someone $65,000 so they could barely show me anything about the industry. What if we gave them everything that we know for a fraction of that cost? How good would that make us feel? How awesome would it be to see the people's lives change? And so for the next 2 years, you're going to host these events about once a month. And it's going to be an amazing experience. But you're going to have some setbacks along the way. You're going to get invited to have your own TV show. It's amazing. I know you're probably like, 2010 RJ is super afraid of cameras and lights. You're going to get over that real fast. In fact, you're just really going to fall in love with it. And it's really weird. We don't like heights. We're still afraid of those. Snakes, still afraid. Cameras and lights, we fucking love them. All right, so we get over that super fast, and we get invited to be on a TV show called Zombie House Flipping on A&E. And so you're going to decide that this is going to be the life-changing moment. We're going to go do a TV show because that will show people who we are so we could teach more people. So as you start filming this TV show, you're going to fall in love with the process. You're going to love meeting with the producer, telling the stories, being real and authentic, showing the funny side of real estate investing, but you're going to get all in on flipping houses again. And simultaneous to this, your wholesaling business is going to take a step back, but that's okay because we are going to revolutionize our lives by being on a TV show, and everyone's going to know who we are. And your episode's going to air on December 3rd, 2022 And it's going to be awesome. You're going to be at one of Trinity's hockey games. All the families are going to stand up and cheers you and salute you. You're going to go have a premiere party with the entire crew. And they're going to tell you and Cassie that you're the next Chip and Joanna. I told them I'm going to be better than Chip. And then 7 days later, you're going to get fired. You're going to get fired from TV because on that first episode, you're going to wear a Viking hoodie. Another weird thing that came about. See, you started growing the big beard. And, you're this big white guy, big beard, aggressive. And people are going to start calling you a Viking. And with our personality, we really embrace it. And so we now thoroughly convinced ourselves that we're from Iceland. And Leif Erikson is our 41st great-grandfather. And we've really embraced it. People buy us helmets and horns. And Cassie buys you a Viking hoodie. And you're going to wear it on your birthday when you're filming. And the camera guy is going to get this great angle of the floor-to-ceiling tile that looks beautiful that we had to do in this $250,000 house in Fort Worth, Texas. And someone's going to tweet, "Is the new star of zombie house flipping a white supremacist?" And you're going to get questioned why your name is RJ Bates III. Why did you name your son Trinity? Why did you put the Roman numeral 3 on the back porch of a house? And all of this is just because I'm literally Robert John Bates III. There was a senior, a junior, and they made you the third. And you didn't want to name your son the 4th, so you named him Trinity. And all of this was just in good fun to make good TV, but you are going to be a victim of society. And you're going to get fired. And you're going to fall into pretty deep depression. I feel like a pretty big dumbass. Why in the world did I think I could do TV? Why in the world did I literally ruin my entire company for this? And then about 4 months later, you're going to decide, fuck that noise, I'm a cleaner. How did I fix this the first time? Clean it up. Let's do it again. Run it back. 50 deals, 50 states, 50 days, 2.0, no announcement, no nothing, just fucking run it, baby. Turn the cameras on and you crush it. 125 contracts in 50 days. Completely reverse everything that was going on in your business. You're going to have guys come into your life like Keaton Sherman, Justin Helms, Garrett Littleton. They're going to become your family. They're going to become the people that you ride or die with because they believe in what you stand for, what you and Cassie stand for as people and as a company. And they're going to trust along the way, no matter how bad things look, no matter how humbling of a moment it was when you had to walk out on the floor and say, "I cannot pay you your paycheck today. But I promise you, if you stick with me, it'll be worth it." And it will be. And so you fight through that time. You do the 125 contracts in 50 days. You completely change your business. You decide we're going to move away from the crucible. It's not what we want. We want something more than 2 days with working with people. I want to work with them forever so we can truly change their life. So you announce during the 50-50-50 that you'll do one more crucible. And you say it all the time. You will get up on stage. You'll say it on podcasts. You'll talk about embracing moments. But there will be a moment during that last crucible that you have to embrace. Because there will be a guy named Nick that will walk up to you, say, "You should be so much bigger than you are." And he's not talking about this. He's talking about to all of you guys. He said, "I've spent over $50,000 trying to learn how to do this. And in the first half of the first day, I've learned more here than I have in all of that. For whatever reason, you're going to see something in this guy, and you're going to know right away, I should be in business with that guy." You have no idea how important it is to Nick because he's struggling to figure out what he's going to do in real estate. And you had no idea that he is an absolute expert at what he does when it comes to marketing for coaching programs. So you and Cassie will become partners with Nick and his wife, Sema. Sema will be on the tail end of her battle with cancer, and you'll absolutely fall in love with them. And it will be amazing to see what you do over the next year and a half. For the first time since working with Cassie, you will find someone else that you can turn over the reins to and completely trust them to do their job. And they will change your life. So, 2010 RJ, it's now 2025, June of 2025. You're standing in front of a camera in a room full of lights that you used to be afraid of, and it is hot as shit in here. It looked great on camera, but standing in here, oh my God, it is like 5,000 degrees. But I'm here to tell you something. There are people literally all across the world that you help change their life. Why? Because you listen to Cassie, dropping it off at Fred's Cafe. You didn't give up when life told you to give up in 2012, when your niece got cancer, when you had a newborn baby and your dad passed away and you had no money. In 2014, when you went down to $11 in your bank account because you were trying to do this thing called wholesale and real estate, you didn't give up. Through all of the fights that you and Cassie will have over the years, because you're two of the most passionate individuals in existence, you won't give up through all of that. And through that, you will now be able to look at people all across the world that call you and thank you for changing their life. For everyone else that's watching this, you have no idea what your path looks like. I couldn't have imagined what that 15-year path looked like, but I wouldn't change it. Don't change yours. Just follow it.